Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us at Coleg Gwent this evening to talk about our computing provision in higher education. Just a few things to say before we make a start and get into the nitty-gritty of the evening. There is a chat box and a question and answer box that we will have running throughout the evening, so please do use this facility. It can be found in the top right-hand corner of your screen, and if you do have any questions, please do ask them throughout the event and we'll get back to you with an answer. We'll either put that live to the presenter or we'll answer it for you in the chat box. Should you wish to have Welsh subtitles throughout the presentation, again, if you use the right-hand side top corner of the screen, you should be able to find those there and put those into action for yourselves. We are all working from home, so if there are any disturbances like the dog barking or the front door going, we do apologise for that. We haven't planned for anything this evening, but you never know what can happen. So this evening you've got myself. I'm Catherine Moffat, Head of School for Business, Sport, Computing and Public Services at Gweminar Gwent Learning Zone. And with me this evening we've got the fantastic Steve Griffiths that works at our Newport campus, and he's one of our experts in Cisco networking. And then we've also got Mike Aubrey with us, who is one of our experts in cybersecurity and works at the Gweminar Gwent campus. And you'll be hearing more from those as we work through the slides this evening. So our HND is a level 4/5 qualification, and it runs at both our Gweminar Gwent Learning Zone campus and our Newport campus in computing. So why study a HND and why at Coleg Gwent? Well, a number of reasons that you might wish to study with us, and that's because in many HND environments, particularly at FE level in a college environment, you'll learn in a lot smaller group, so you'll get a lot more one-to-one attention from your lecturers. And because you're in that smaller group environment, you will naturally get to talk more about your assignments, how you put your answers forward, and be supported in much smaller groups than you would be at a university. So this course is franchised to us from the University of South Wales, and you can pick up further studies to top up to degree level if you wish to do so at a later stage. So you are following the first 2 years of a degree programme at level 4 and level 5. So what can this lead to? So you've got many opportunities that you can go on to, and that would include enhanced employment opportunities within the industry of computing, degree-based apprenticeships with local companies, and we've recently had somebody do this through Thales and also Continental Teas and pharmaceutical companies. So there are many opportunities for those sort of apprenticeships after you leave this course. You can also top up to a full bachelor's or master's degree in computing at the University of South Wales. And we can talk to you about the routes that you may wish to top up into as you progress through your studies with us. And it'll also give you an enhanced skill set, allowing you to develop your own projects and ideas throughout the course. So now I'm going to hand you over to Steve, who's going to talk you through the year 1 of the programme and discuss some of those modules of study with you. Sorry, Steve, I lost my place slightly there. Are you ready to go live?
Yes, thanks, Kath.
Thank you, Steve.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Happy Monday. My name is Steve, and I'm going to discuss with you the content of year 1 of the HND computing program that we run. These, as Kath said, are run at Newport and the Gweminar Gwent learning campuses. This validated by the USW, and due to the high success rate and completion of the first year of study, you will find that you will acquire a higher national certificate, so a HNC, in computing from the University of South Wales. This will enable you to progress onto the second year of study to complete the higher national diploma, HND. So on year 1, there are basically 7 modules which combine together to give you approximately 120 credits which you would typically need to progress to year 2. The modules themselves are merely topics which have been chosen for you to study with our successful program, and to help you progress further studies in with basically employment in mind. The modules are a range of areas within the subject excuse me, of the computing, and therefore do not specialize in one particular area. As such, it gives you a broad outlook on the various different elements. Highly beneficial, and it provides you with an insight into the range of exciting areas which you might then want to specialize in your future study areas, or which you may want to follow on in employment. So there's various different modules. So the first module I'll cover is the professional practice. Whilst this does not cover specific areas of computing, it looks at those educational skills you will need to ensure your success at this type of level. Here you will look at research that you are able to reference correctly to ensure that your work is valid and focuses on the latest developments and trends within this exciting and fast moving subject area. Like all modules on the course, there is naturally assessments attached to this module, and this is via tasks which are completed individually and as a group as well. The second module you will discuss the software development and programming one. Here you'll find both modules. You will learn the basics of coding. Typically, we tend to use C# as an industry standard, and we can complete a number of tutorials to help develop and enhance your skills for this. Don't worry if you haven't coded before, as the first assessment in programming one takes you from the very beginnings of learning to code to a level from which you should be able to positively approach the second assessment, which may involve coding in, for instance, a simplistic game. These skills can then be transferred to software development, where you will face another assignment, and it is highly coded focused. So following on from that, you're going to be doing something computer systems and network concepts, which I personally deliver at Newport. This is split into two separate parts. The first looks at the core knowledge which underpins the use of technology systems and allows them to respond as organization and individuals need them to. This is assessed via 5 short in-class multiple choice questions. The question tests. The second part of the module focuses on the modern day use of computer networks and associated technologies such as 5G, etc. Here you will typically produce that is indicative of this appreciation of this area of expertise. We then deliver ISAD 1. You will look into the use of information systems in organizations and their potential for enabling an organization to develop. You will undertake 2 assessments during this, where you will look at using the design and creation of databases within a business environment and structure. We will then continue on with where you design a development of a website. I do also deliver the web development at Newport. This module draws you into, which is, I would class as slightly more creative, where you can implement more self into this type of area, a little bit arty, should we say. And this allows you to study design tools, techniques as well, so you get the fundamentals and technical tools behind it as well. The past 12 months have shown how vital websites are to us, especially in the business community, where we'll have engaged with the various different skills and knowledge that enable businesses to adapt during our awful COVID experience, and obviously allow them to trade in these uncertain times that we're in. If you've not studied in this area before, obviously I take you from the beginnings with example codes right the way through to ensure that you can afford the opportunity to develop those skills, enhance them yourselves in line with the level of the qualification. The final module looks at how number systems and mathematic techniques are underpinned in the area of computing, and how techniques can be used to solve problems and help develop the latest technologies. Once again, you are challenged through a set of in-class exercises under the expert guidance of our delivery team to ensure that you have an insight to the importance of this area. As I previously mentioned, at all times you will be guided by the staff and friendly team at all our campuses to ensure that the skills you develop enable you to not only be successful in the modules, but also progress seamlessly into the year 2 and completion of your HND. So with year 2 in mind, I will now pass you on to my colleague, Mike, who will provide you with information on your second year of study. Mike, take it away.
Thanks very much, Steve, and hi everyone. My name is Mike and I'm one of the computing lecturers here at the Blind Gwent Learning Zone, which is the Ebbw campus of Coleg Gwent. I also deliver on the HND in computing programme that Steve has expertly introduced to you, and discussing the year 1 modules, and these modules will be the same at both campuses. So what you study at Newport you will study at Ebbw. So I'm going to talk you through the the modules that you will study in year 2. Now in year 2, this consists of 6 modules rather than the 7 that you found at year 1, and these are taught at level 5, which is sort of your equivalent to your second year of degree study. And the modules you will study are ISAD 2, which is Information Systems Analysis and Design. You'll do the HND individual project. You'll do Systems Architecture and Modelling, Computer Programming 2, Responsive Web Development, and there's a slight difference here between Newport and with Ebbw, whereas in Newport you'll look at Computer System Security. In Ebbw currently we are delivering the Creating Virtual Reality Environments module. Now, a lot of the modules, for example, the Information Systems Analysis and Design 2, the Computer Programming 2, and the Responsive Web Development, they build on the modules you will have already completed in your first year at level 4. So the idea here is that you are expanding your knowledge, you are pushing yourself that bit further at a higher level, okay, and you're extending your skills to level 5. Modules such as Systems Architecture and Modelling, the individual project, or one of the optional modules, the Creating Virtual Reality Environments or the Computer System Security. Okay, these will all be new areas of study on your HND program, and I think it's beneficial just to give you an overview of those particular modules. So Systems Architecture and Modelling then, this unit teaches you about the design and the building of components of the computer system. So things such as the CPU, the central processing unit, memory such as RAM and ROM, and how these elements work with software such as operating systems. And we're able to sort of simulate these actions and look at how this all these things interact using virtual machines, okay, that we have in our lab facility on campus. Now, this unit also contains a strong mathematics component. So the maths module, the problem-solving module that you would have completed in year 1, you will need some of those elements of expertise to bring forward into this particular module. Now, depending on which campus you choose to study at, we'll set the next module for you. So for Blind Gwent Learning Zone, currently we deliver the Creating Virtual Reality Environments module, and this studies the history and the impact of virtual reality on the computing industry and further afield. And in addition, you get the opportunity to model your own VR environments using things such as the Unreal Engine, and you'll get to test them using VR headsets such as the Vive, the Oculus Rift, the Oculus Quest, or the Oculus Go. Now in Newport, you will study the Computer System Security, where again you can build on your knowledge from looking at networking in year 1 and apply it to identify and validate security issues associated with networks, services, and operating systems, and construct and execute tests to identify and validate these security issues. Now also in year 2, you will be expected to undertake a large development project, where you'll be expected to work independently with limited supervision. You will be appointed a project supervisor, who will likely be one of your course tutors, and they will work to help you develop, for example, a computer program or a website, or maybe even a computer game. And you will be expected to complete the project following all steps of what we know as the project life cycle. So from the initial concepts of your project, to the design of the project, to developing your prototype, to testing, and then to evaluating. Now, at the end of the project, you'll be expected to present your work to a panel who will then evaluate your ideas and your achievements. Now, successful completion of year 2 will gain you your HND qualification, and this will be classified as a pass, a merit, or a distinction, and open further doors to more HE. For example, I think Kath mentioned earlier that you may wish to study further at institutions such as the University of South Wales, where you can top up your qualification to one of their computing degrees, one of their bachelor's degrees, or you may wish to maybe think about moving into employment. Now, details of how to apply for the HND are on the Coleg Gwent website, and we welcome applications from learners who may have just completed A-levels or BTEC and alternative level 3 qualifications. We'll also consider applications from mature learners who may have relevant industry experience or may be looking for a career change. So are there any questions for myself or Steve at this point?
Hi, Mike. One question.
Yep.
Which is, if we choose to study the HND computing with Coleg Gwent, will we get the opportunity to visit the University of South Wales at all? And if so, what will we do there?
It's encouraged that we do. Obviously, that's not been possible in the last 12 months due to COVID. But certainly, yes, open days, taster days, those sorts of things are certainly on the agenda. We have certainly taken students down in the past. They've participated in practical lab sessions with university lecturers. Usually we'll run a minibus down there and come back. They'll see some of the facilities that are available in the university. So COVID permitting, hopefully we'll be able to restart those kind of events for the next academic year.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Another question has just come in, which is, I'm currently a level 3 learner at Coleg Gwent. I'm a little bit concerned about my studies at level 4-5. What support is available to me to be able to make sure that I have the skills to study at level 4 and 5?
I think one of the benefits of certainly studying level 4 and 5 at Coleg Gwent, particularly if you're already a student with us, is that you will be familiar with the campus, you will be familiar with the tutors, and you would have likely built up some kind of rapport, some kind of relationship in that way with your tutors. So similar to what you would find at level 3, there is pastoral support, obviously from your personal tutor, and the other facilities that we have on campus as well for student support.
Okay, thanks, Mike. There are no further questions at this point.
Okay, that's great. Okay, well, thank you very much for attending today's presentation. I hope you all found it interesting and informative. We will be available to answer any questions for the next 10 minutes or so online. So if you are using the chat box on the screen, please do send any questions that you may have. There is a finance presentation that will be taking place shortly, I believe, where my colleagues will explain to you about learner financial support that is available for HE learners. And thank you very much, Joachim.